Hello, my lovely. Today, I am actually sitting in a house completely surrounded by snow. We had snowy weather since 2 days now in Denmark, and we were actually planning to go back to Spain. As you know, I live between two countries, Denmark and Spain, and I work in England. And we will go back to Spain tomorrow, Wednesday. But because the snow is so beautiful, and we not had any snow over Christmas, and my dream is just white snow. And to my surprise, Bruce is completely crazy about the snow as well. We decided to delay our flights till Sunday. And this may seem a waste of money. However, I also realized that I had forgotten to book our train tickets from where we are in the middle of Denmark to Copenhagen Airport. And they are crazy expensive when you try to buy them 48 hours before. So it was actually cheaper to rebook the flights to Ryanair and then also book train tickets on Sunday, which is crazy, but that's how it was. So we decided to do that and stay a few more days and enjoy the snow. And then I was scrolling on Instagram as you do, and I saw my Prime Minister here in Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, speak up against Trump and the whole Greenland issue. In case you've been hiding with your head in a, in a burrow, then like Trump wants to take over Greenland and he wants to make it American, and Greenland does belong to Denmark. So now there's that. So I was joking, to literally saying to Bruce after the morning coffee, I said, like, well, I don't know where safe is now. Maybe it would be better to go to Spain if they're going to start a war over Greenland. And I literally put on, like, scroll further down Instagram. And then Trump is like, I am not happy with Spain because they haven't invested money in as many weapons as he would like them to. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not safe anywhere, are we? And I made a reel about it because it just came to me. I just thought it was like just ridiculous. What can I say about Trump? I mean, I don't think there's much to say, but it also, I mean, I get that a lot of people right now are not feeling very safe because it feels out of control, right? There's this like absolutely egomaniac that we have no idea what he does, why he does it. Okay, I guess power and money are good motives, and just this like completely off the rails world president that he seems to deem himself right now. So it's hard to do any podcast or any post right now and not kind of address the situation, which is what I think, it's funny as well because I find myself between two countries that have been heavily insulted by him in these last few days. But in general, it's like, I guess the world just seems uncertain right now, and we just don't know what's going to happen any moment. And it's easy to get caught up in watching the news and watching the reels and just like start getting anxious and getting scared. And I want today's episode to be about that, not necessarily about a third world war, whatever is coming or not coming, but it's about being scared, being anxious, being fearful over things that have not yet happened, already did happen, and we are scared of them because we are thinking about it, and it feels very, very unsafe. Because most of the time, we are actually quite safe in the moment. So unless you're sitting in Gaza or Venezuela right now, like you should be pretty safe. If you're in the Western world right now, you are safe, right? There are no bombs falling on you. There are, you're sitting in a warm house, you're listening to this, so you must have some sort of electricity. You are safe right now. I have been in unsafe situations. I have been attacked with a guy that tried to rape me. I have, my dad used to beat my mum up sometimes. I have been in like scary car crash situations. So I have been in situations that were in that moment unsafe, like really unsafe, felt unsafe, were unsafe, and the adrenaline was going at 100 per hour, and it was very uncomfortable and very scary and horrible, right? And I survived. So I know the difference between being in a real scary, dangerous situation and just feeling that you're in a dangerous situation. And of course, when we are in a dangerous situation, you have to run away from a guy that tries to rape you, or, you need to get out of the car that's about to go onto fire or whatever. Then obviously you want the adrenaline surge and you want to be scared and you want to have all your senses on fire because you need to move and you need to defend yourself or you need to run away, right? However, having those feelings and that anxiety and that fear on the back burner constantly throughout your life is what creates a lot of problems for us because, the chronic adrenaline, then you have a lot of cortisol then running through your body, and you have a lot of secondary effects that affect your health, but it's just not very nice to feel unsafe and feel scared most of the time. And in the veterinary clinic, there's just a lot of times where we have this fear We have a fear of something that we're worried and scared of some consequences of something that we think might happen, right? So say you have done an operation and now suddenly your brain offers you the thought, but what if you didn't suture it right? Or what if, you missed something? Or what if it suddenly has a heart attack in the middle of the night? Like you start having thoughts about this thing you did, or you put someone on treatment and then suddenly your brain is like, oh shit, I give it ivermectin, but what if it's an eighth part collie and now it dies? Like you did something and now you're worried, you're scared of the consequences of what you did. And often as well, we're scared of something that may happen in the future. Just like I could be scared of a third world war happening because of Trump being an idiot. In the clinic, I can be scared, right? I can be scared about a complaint coming in. I can be scared because I'm going into a surgery today and I'm going to do procedures I don't feel 100% comfortable with. And we can address that. I can be scared because somebody says something to me, the way I interpret it is like, oh my God, something is going to happen. I can be scared because maybe I have communication, social anxiety, something anxiety around confronting people, about speaking to people. And once you go down that road and when you don't stop that, you don't deal with it, then it gets worse and worse, right? So when you have to speak to people, you start second guessing yourself, you start doubting yourself, anything anybody says to you just becomes like a negative thing and you feel attacked all the time. So that is also a real fear. And fear, for example, of doing procedures, like I have spoken to vets that are so capable and they're so experienced, like they're better than me. And they are still scared of doing a way resistant, for example, to doing bit space, to doing some operations that are just like, it's just the worst, and they have genuine fear. They might not admit it, they just say, I don't really want to do it. But some of them you might actually have fear of going in and doing this. Or I don't know, something that just doesn't, we all have different fears, right? We all have different worries about something. Or maybe you're working up a case, like I talked about last time, you're working up a case and you haven't reached that perfect diagnosis, a perfect treatment, and you worry about you coming into work and you worry about the client calling and not being happy and wanting you to do something, and you think you're not going to know what to do. So notice how much fear we have around things that haven't actually happened, or things that already have happened and now we can't do anything about them. And we're in this position that we can't do anything about it. Just like I can't do much apart from like making jokes on social media around Trump and he being an idiot. And because I can't do anything and my brain really, really wants to control the situation, then it's like pushing me to, hey, Gunilla, you need to control this. Like there's something is making us afraid and you need to deal with it. If you're hearing really weird sounds in the background, it's because we have snow on the roof. And obviously I have the heating on as I'm sitting upstairs. And we have the heating on, and as the windows heat up, the snow just like slides down the roof, and it sounds very dramatic. Just in case you hear something really weird, you're like, "What is she doing?" It's not me; it's the snow, the sound of snow. Yes. So I'm thinking. I'm probably not thinking like I am not like intellectually. I understand I cannot dominate the world and stop all war from happening, but my brain thinks this is a problem, and because it's a problem that's making me afraid, I need to solve it. So because I can't solve it, because there's nothing I can do, it goes like, oh, you should look on social media, you should really try and find out what's happening, you need all the details, which is impossible, right? Because there's so much shit going on and so many sharing all sorts on whatever news you watch are going to give you a different perspective. You're never going to know exactly what is happening and why and who's doing it. So it's impossible, and it just feels like out of control. And this out of control feeling is also the feeling that can sometimes hit us when we're going into surgery. For example, with a fat bitch. It just sounds really bad when I say that. A fat female Labrador. I don't know. It just sounds like I'm insulting someone in a rap song when I say fat bitch. So like say an overweight, an obese Labrador female, and you're doing a spay, and you're going to go in and you feel like I can't control it because there's so much fat and it's gonna bleed, and I'm not gonna know where the bleed is coming from, because is it the fat, or is that how I really nicked the ovarian artery or whatever, and and you want to control it, but you cannot make this Labrador slim from in the next 20 minutes when you're going in. So it feels out of control. It feels you can't do something, and it's true in VetMed. That's a lot of things we can't do something about, right? So I can't do anything about the Labrador being fat. I can't do anything about a client that wants to complain against me. I can't do anything about, so many things like bullying online against us. We can't do anything about if a person comes in with a really sick or really traumatized road traffic accident or whatever pet and they don't have money. I can't control that. There's so many things that feel out of control. And because I feel out of control and my brain wants me to control the situation, we get this fear. It keeps pushing the adrenaline because you need to act now, right? There's something out of control. You need to act. You need to do something because it thinks you can, right? And that fear is just gonna get stored in our body, and that's what we get, like the cortisol, and that makes us not want to sleep. And then my hair started falling out. I had like super bad skin. I had, heart palpitations, like on and on and on, because there was all this fear around different things. What if I can't pay the bills the end of month? Everything just seems so much out of control. And there are so many things we can't control. And it's really important when we have this fear, this slightly irrational fear, right? Like I said, it's not a real dangerous situation. So me being attacked or me seeing my mom being attacked, that is a real dangerous situation, or somebody can get hurt and I need to react. Well, I was 5 years old, so I was not much I could do, but it felt like it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this for you to feel sorry for me. Oh no, poor Cornelia, she had a terrible childhood. I'm just saying that I have been in literal danger, and I'm sure maybe you have at some point of time as well. So I know the difference between real danger and not real danger. And we need to realize when we're not in a real danger so we can calm our nervous system down. Okay, so you need first to realize that you are in this cycle. You need to realize that you are in a fear situation, you're having anxiety, you're really worried, and you're scared about something that you actually don't need to be scared about. So for me right now, to be scared about a third world war makes no sense, because it could either not happen, it could happen tomorrow, or it could happen in 3 years, or it could happen when I'm long gone, right? So it makes no sense for me to be scared and try to prepare myself for something that I don't know if it's going to happen. There's just no need. Like if the bombs start falling, then I'll get scared and I'll run, right? I'll pick my belongings and my cats and I'll go, right? But right now, being scared is just useless. And all it's going to do is just accumulate more and more adrenaline, more and more cortisol, and just like all these horror scenarios in my brain that I can't do anything about. And in the veterinary clinic, you need to realize when you're in this irrational fear, when you start having anxiety about speaking to people, about doing surgeries, or just going into work, because it seems like it's out of control. Maybe also if you're in like I was very much into people pleasing, and it just took control, right? And I was not setting any boundaries. And then I just felt I was never enough. And I was just like always on this wheel of like, I had to do more, more, more. And there was a real fear that I wouldn't be able to live up to these expectations or live up to everything I had to do. I wouldn't be able to make enough money when I had my own clinic and be able to pay all my workers and pay all my bills. That was a real fear. And I was just like taking on more and more and more. And now the more I think back to when I had my clinic, the more I learn about coaching and business coaching and management and all that, as you do when you're in this world. I think back, like if I'd had this when I had my clinic, it would have been so different. But it's all good, isn't it? It's all good learning, and it makes me a much better coach now because I know what it is to run your own business and be scared shitless at the end of month, because how the fuck am I going to pay the bills and the rents and all the pay slips? But when you're in a routine of people pleasing, of doubting yourself, of not setting boundaries, of lacking more and more confidence because you're hyper focusing on everything you don't know, instead of like you never acknowledge or celebrate the stuff that went well, you just get into this cycle of fear. And you need to, first of all, notice that you're in it. You need to acknowledge what you're feeling. And this is why last episode, I think it was the last one, if not the last one, the one before, where we analyze the feeling, where we process a feeling, is so fucking important. And excuse my French, but if you don't realize that you're in it, it's just going to get worse. It just won't disappear by itself. You working harder, you taking more courses and doing that stuff, thinking that you'll then get in control and you don't have to have fear anymore, it's just not going to help you. It's a bit like me trying to prepare myself for the Third World War. I mean, how the fuck am I going to do that? I can't. I just need to get on with my life and live it. And then, just pay slight attention to where is the safest place to be, and have some water and some, I don't know, food around just in case, in cans. But in the clinic, you cannot prepare yourself for everything all the time. You cannot, let's say if you have like, I don't know, you have a rabbit in and then you freak out about, oh God, I don't know enough now about rabbits. And then you have a lot of fear about exotics coming in. And now you need to take like a 50-hour course in exotics. I tried to do that. And I swear to God, they were showing like how to do ECGs in hamsters. I just had to drop it. It was like so crazy. I just thought I would learn, the basics. No, it was way too high level. I thought I would feel better about exotics if I did this course. And of course, keep educating yourself, keep continuing education, but you cannot just because you have something you didn't know much about and you feel a bit out of your depth, you can't suddenly amass all the knowledge and all the experience about this thing in like one day and then you're going to feel better. There's always going to be something that's going to come in and you're going to feel out of your depth because it doesn't matter what, like vet med is just like that. It's crazy, isn't it? You just get crazy cases, crazy people and crazy animals sometimes. So sometimes you're going to be out of your depth and you cannot prepare yourself for it because how would you ever know this was going to happen? I mean, I've had I swear to God, and I will keep saying this, every month when I have my week of shifts, that week something happens that I had never seen before. Like the ones where the kittens had the umbilical cord all tied together around a fucking chair and they were stuck. It was just so crazy. I'd never seen that before. And then my nurse was like, oh no, I've seen that twice before. I'm like, how? I worked here for 20 years. How have you seen it? And I haven't. So there's going to be things you've never seen before or people are coming with the most crazy request or the way they handle things. And you're just not going to be prepared. But you cannot run around and be scared of it. You cannot then get into a real spin of fear and anxiety. And I should have been more prepared on this and the other. You need to acknowledge, yet you're in a spin of fear and anxiety. And you need to recognize it by processing a feeling, like I taught in this last episode of the one before, like acknowledge when it's happening in your body. You know your symptoms if you learn to tune in, right? It's like, you start like hyperventilating, you very short breath, you got a knot in your stomach, you maybe feel a bit shaky, that's symptoms, right? And then you need to acknowledge that this is not a real fear. Your brain is just pushing a lot of shoulds, coulds, have, this could happen, horror scenarios onto you, but nothing is actually happening right now. Before you go into a bitch spay, nothing is happening, right? The dog is there, wagging its tail. Nothing has happened yet. Until you start cutting and you start doing stuff, there's no danger anywhere, right? There's nothing happening. And as you make the first cuts and as you start like pulling out the ovaries and you make little snips and you find stuff like maybe a bleed will come up, but it's just a bleed, right? And you're a vet, you can open up further. You can get someone to scrub in and help you if you're lucky. You can find you just stick gauze in there and you try and find where it is and you just start clamping off. You just need to take the next step. So there isn't actually any danger in that moment, right? And of course, there could be a danger of like a German Shepherd coming in and it's like super aggressive. And of course, like it's good to have a little dose of adrenaline to keep you on your toes there. But then if you just go into like fear and you just panic and you're full of anxiety and you don't set boundaries and you're a very, very big people pleaser, then that's a problem. Because now you might go in and see this dog and not require that the client knows how to restrain it. You don't require they come back with some, gabapentin or triazole or something on top, or you don't require a sedation because you don't know how to set your boundaries and you want to please this client, right? So that is very important as well. Like not having your boundaries in place and wanting to please everybody is also going to make you more fearful because you're going to get thrown into situations that you are really, really not prepared for and you're way out of your depth. Instead of saying, hey, I'm not seeing this because like, if you want me to see it, I'm going to sedate it because I don't want to get bitten, right? That is how I see, I see people that are not managing their minds, not managing their emotions. And those are the ones that get hurt because they do not set a boundary in that moment. And of course, you could be really unlucky. Like I've been bitten, but it's been a few years now. But I can still you can get surprised, right? But in general, you shouldn't be in real danger in a veterinary clinic. And therefore, you shouldn't feel real fear, right? When the fear comes up, it is more often than not, it's very likely to be irrational. It's very likely to be a fear that your brain is telling you something and making a big deal out of something that's not happened yet or did happen and you can't do anything about it. So you need to recognize it. Like I say, the tightness in your chest, your throat constricting, there's knot in your stomach, maybe a bit dizzy, and your brain is just going like 100 per hour, just sending you all these thoughts about should have, could have, I need to, why didn't I, blah, blah, blah. So when you recognize just need to take a breath, And what I want to show you in this episode is like how you can create safety in your own body. Because even I've been reading, I read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and I just read The Choice, and I can't remember the name of her now. A Hungarian, or a Jew. She both got sent into Auschwitz, right? And even in a fucking concentration camp, they managed to find and create safety within their own bodies. So they didn't have to feel that fear all the time. And this was like real fear, right? But yet they just got so accustomed to it. So if people can find safety in a concentration camp surrounded by crazy Nazis, for sure you can find safety in your body in a veterinary clinic, right? And I know I'm taking it to a real extreme, but it's just to show you that your brain might listen to this. You might be listening to this and your brain is going like, yeah, but my case is different because I have anxiety around this, I have anxiety around that. Okay, but you can still find safety in your own body. And here's this extreme case and this other extreme case that really shows that it's possible. I want you to believe it's possible to create safety in your own body, because if you don't believe it, you're not going to try, or you're going to say, I'll try, but you won't really believe it, right? So you won't even try. So in order to create safety for your own body, there's a lot of ways to do it. So if you're in the middle of a crisis and you have super anxiety, either because you saw the news and Trump said something crazy, or you're going to go to work and you just have this complete meltdown about stuff that's going to happen, or you're going to go into a bit spey and you don't know, or you're going to speak to your boss and you don't, whatever's going to happen, you're in the middle of a crisis. I would say to put the episode on, the last one of the bow, and process the feeling. And I think you scroll forward to minute 7 when I stop explaining what I'm doing and we just go into processing it. And that will calm you down because I'll take you through the full body scan, right? So that's one way. So do a full body scan, breathe into the feeling, name the feeling, and that will already get you down from a 10 of anxiety down to like maybe 6, 5, right? Another way to do, soothe yourself. So soothing is, rubbing your arms. If you can see me, I'm like rubbing my arms. You can hug yourself. You can also like soothing as well. You can like touch your fingers. You know what makes you like feel good, right? One way as well, if you're sitting down, like sit down, just feel the ground supporting you, your feet on the ground is supporting you. You're not falling, you're not free falling. There's support, right? Controlling your breathing. A really good breathing exercise that can bring my heart rate down in like less than a minute is where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and you breathe out for 8. I'll say that again. You breathe in for 4, and while you're breathing in, you notice your chest, your rib cage expanding. So I'm holding my hands on my rib cage and I'm noticing, so I'm breathing in. I'm noticing my rib cage expanding, right? I'm breathing into my belly as well. I'm counting for 4, and then I'm holding it at the very top for 7, and then I breathe out through my mouth for 8. That'll bring your heart rate down. That will help you get rid of, get the adrenaline down. Another thing, if you have fear and it's just in your body and it's running wild and there's no way you can rationalize your way out of here, it's just like jumping up and down. Jumping up or just run around for a little while. Like do some exercise to like release the energy, the adrenaline. Just get it out of your body. You could start doing that like before you're breathing. No, you probably want to do it the other way around. But there's a ton of methods to feel safety in your own body. And then once you kind of like got the worst under control, then like sit down and just like ask yourself, like, what am I afraid of right now? What am I afraid of right now? Like really name it. Instead of having this like black cloud, for example, Third World War. Oh no, they're gonna bomb and something is gonna happen. What am I afraid of right now? And also, what do I need right now? What do I need right now to feel safe? I need a cup of tea. I need to sit down. I need to just chill. I need someone to tell me that I can do okay. I just need to know that I have enough time in this bit space that I'm not going to be rushed, right? I need that. I need to talk to someone to just like take my consoles after. What do I need to give myself some space to breathe? What do I need? If you're in the car on the way to work and you start like being really fearful and you're like really anxious, then notice when your brain goes into this spin and like really, really just stop it. Like you need to address the body first, because if it's like and you're just like breathing so high up that you're hardly getting like enough oxygen and you're hyperventilating, and it's really difficult to rationalize. You need to do like the breathing, the grounding, the soothing, whatever it is to just get your body down a bit. And then also like what is it I'm afraid of? Like if you're driving, like just keep asking, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of such and such. Okay, and And so what? So what could happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? And go there, like really get your brain to like tell you. You know, when you have a toddler that's like, mom, 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 because they want to show you a drawing or something. And it's like, mom, and you're like, just a second. And mom, mom, mom. And then you're like, stop for a second. You turn around, you say, yeah, what is it, love? And they're like, look at this like octopus I drew. And they show you this like smear on a page. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Cool. Yeah. That's it. Right now, the toddlers calm down and they run away. Our brain is a bit like that. So if your brain is trying to tell you, no, you're going to do this bit spay and then it's going to bleed out and you're not going to know from where, it's going to be so much fat and you don't know where it's going to, and it's just like, all these things. This is like the toddler is trying to tell you there's danger, and it's sending you adrenaline and it's getting your heart rate up and it's preparing you for this like imminent danger. And you need to address the brain and tell it, just like the toddler, like, I see you, I realize, I realize something is going on. What are you afraid of? What's going to happen? And then like talk it out. No, you can like sit in the car, for example. If you're by yourself, you could talk it out. You can journal it out. I, for example, journaled the other day because I have a workshop coming up, and suddenly my brain presented me with the excellent idea that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Nobody cares. And they're all just going to turn off their screen to just walk away. And I'm going to sit there by myself. That's like my excellent brain. Like the imposter syndrome will never go away. I just know how to manage it. So I can notice myself that I was getting tense and I was getting like a bit short breath. And it was kind of like really interrupted thoughts. It was not like a chain of thoughts I could follow and then analyze. It was just like, So I sat down and I just journaled. What are you worried about? What's going to happen? And as soon as I wrote like, I don't know, a third page of an A4, I was calm because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Of course, I know what I'm talking about. I have tons of ideas. And just doing that little thing, just writing it down and just addressing it instead of trying to push it away, saying it's ridiculous, that just opened up my mind for a ton of ideas of what I want to say on the workshop, right? So it's also really difficult to be creative and come up with ideas and think out of the box. Which is all stuff you really need when you work in VetMed, when you're scared, because your brain is just like, it just shuts down and you get this tunnel vision. So you want to create safety in your own body because you're going to need it so you can handle things better, right? It's a bit like if shit hits the fan and Trump decided to bomb Denmark. As no, like it doesn't, me standing in the room screaming is not going to help. I need to do something. What can I do? I need to calm down and get a move on, see what I want to do, right? If I go into a bit spay and it starts bleeding out like crazy and there's something wrong, it doesn't help me hyperventilating or sitting crying in a corner. I want to calm myself down, find safety in my body and deal with it. And like 9 out of 10, so like 99 out of 100, it's going to be okay. So what did I say? So create safety in your body. So your breathing exercise, you're processing the feeling, which is a couple episodes back. Soothing by touching yourself and like, just like, we often do this where we're picking our nails or we're rubbing our fingers. All those things are soothing. Just maybe like just drinking a hot drink or something, just sipping a hot drink and breathing, or grounding yourself by like feeling the ground underneath you when you're sitting where you're standing, and then address the brain. Like what's happening? Like what are you afraid of? What do you need? Also that, like, just like, what do you need? What do you need to feel safe? I need whatever, and just express yourself. And if you then need support, like don't try to hide that you're worried. Like one of the best things as well about being anxious is speaking about it, not saying, oh, like you can tell your nurse if you're going in, if someone you have hopefully a good relationship with, oh, I just feel a bit nervous because I'm worried about XYZ. And they will often say like, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm here, it'll be fine, or we can call whatever. And you talk it through with them. Like, don't try and hide inside yourself, like, and put this brave face on if you're genuinely scared. Talk about it, talk it through with others, and talk it out. And remember, like, your brain is gonna be this little toddler going, mom, 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 and just like throwing all these random shitty thoughts at you all the time unless you address it. And you're like, what do you need? What are you afraid of? Just remember that, right? When you start getting the oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, whatever it is, like, just breathe, soothe, ground, process. Remember, you're safe right now. If you say to me right now, I say to you, like, what are you afraid of right now? Like, if I said I'm afraid right now, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm in my house, I have heating, we have food, we have water, Bruce is around somewhere. We're fine. I'm safe right now. Nothing is happening. I'm safe. I'm safe. And you can say that to yourself. I'm safe. There's nothing happening. I'm safe. What do I need? What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of a bomb falling off the top of my head. Okay, it might happen, but right now it's not happening. You're safe. Right now, you're safe, right? You can say that to yourself. And what do you need? Well, I need a hug. I need I need to speak this through with someone because I have this fear. I need some support with this operation. I need to, if it's a complaint, I need to talk to like VDS or whatever, a lawyer or something about this so they can kind of like talk me through what is going on and address it. What are you afraid of? What do you need? Okay. So I hope this was helpful and I hope I didn't make you scared of Third World War now, which is probably not going to happen in our lifetime, hopefully. And if it does, whatever. But that's it, isn't it? Like shit can hit the fan around us, but you can still find safety in your body. And it's important that you realize when it's happening to you that you have fear and it's not rational right now because no matter what, you can deal with it. Like you are a vet, right? So you are a badass by definition. Been through vet school, you came out on the other side, you are per definition a badass because you are what you are and you are here now, right? You're already here. You are a vet. You did it, right? So anything that comes after that, you can deal with it and you can learn to deal with it. So any fear you have is irrational. No matter what happens, you will be okay, right? There's no real danger right now. Nobody's trying to stop you right now, hopefully. So just remember that the fear you're having is of stuff that might not happen, will never happen, or it's something that you can deal with easy. You're a vet. You can. I know you can. Okay. I hope this was helpful and have a lovely week. Bye.